Hey everybody, I am here with Michael. Hi Michael.
Hello. This was my fault.
Yes, everything is always your fault.
We should have enough time. I don't know if you had plans, but I had a plan that I wanted to do with you first.
Okay.
Can you get into your ship?
Yeah, it's been about a week since I last played this, so I've forgotten everything.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
You'll have to give me a moment.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're doing a little bit of just rounding up a couple of things that I might have missed, or some things that Michael would like me to try. I'm here in my ship.
Okay. Buckle up. Start flying.
And where are we heading off to?
I want you to point yourself at the sun.
If I can find it, this might be it.
Yeah. Now just hit reverse.
Reverse.
Yep. And don't let go. Ever. For this entire loop.
Okay. Hopefully I won't run into any planets then.
If you lock on. Yeah, now we can see our speed. There we go. Okay, so our goal right now is to get 10,000 kilometers away.
Okay.
And because it's space, you constantly pick up speed.
So, is this we're trying to escape the galaxy?
Yeah, we're just going to try and escape and see what happens. I was actually 100% surprised that you never tried this.
Well, to be fair, I was constantly confused with this game.
No, yeah.
So, yeah. I struggled, but we got there in the end. So I had a couple questions for you.
Yeah, I kind of figured this would be a good time to...
Yeah, since we're just traveling backwards in space for the next 20-some minutes. You played this game. You actually streamed it on your channel.
Mm-hmm.
And I did not see any of that, so I was still able to go into the spoiler-free. But what... if you were to sum up your experience with the game? Like, what thoughts did you have about playing through it?
Before we get too far, activate your signal scope.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I got... that's, I'm assuming that's getting all the signals together at once.
Yep.
Because I'm hearing a nice little...
You found out at the end of the game, but all the music they're playing is actually one single song. Yeah,
I figured that to begin with. I just didn't realize that there was an achievement of getting it all together like that.
Yeah, it's a really nice little moment. If when you're like backing away, you can kind of just hear it slowly come together.
Oh.
It's also nice because sometimes the game doesn't have any music, so while you're doing this get away from the galaxy, it can be something to listen to. But anyway, to get back to your question, what I would sum my experience up with this game would be a lot of self-discovery. There was a lot of things that happened in this game, and a lot of conversations I would have with like the other Hearthians and stuff that just kind of made me reevaluate myself and my outlook on life. Especially coming to the end.
Right.
The ending theme is a lot of emotion for me. I don't think there's been a time where I've gotten to the end of this game where it doesn't like hit me hard.
Yeah, it definitely deals... It's always kind of looming over the whole premise of the game. It's kind of looming overhead these kind of heavy subjects of like existence and
and you don't
the inevitable
really
and this and that
until it hits you.
Right.
When I played this game, it was a couple years ago now, and it had just been like a few years after my grandpa had passed away. So I'd kind of like worked through that, but it kind of made me reevaluate all the regrets I had, all the things I didn't do, all the things I didn't say, or the things I did say. And it just kind of made me realize how much of life is just, you need to live in these moments when you can.
That's a good way of putting it.
Because you don't know. And that's kind of the thing, is all the Hearthians in the solar system all the Nomai, their end is abrupt. They
Right.
didn't know it was coming. It just happens. And especially like thinking back to all the people, like when you start the game, you're going around town, you're talking to all these people, you're learning what they're about, what they like. You end up can play with the children to learn about the signal scope and stuff. And it's just all these things where it's like they're just going about their lives, and then it's just taken away, and they don't know it's coming. And it's just kind of one of those things where it's like, I don't want it to happen where I'm just living my life one day and something happens and I didn't do something that I wanted to do. So it just kind of got me thinking about that kind of stuff a lot.
Right.
And then this past, I ended up playing this game again recently and watching you play it right after my other grandpa just passed away on New Year's. And it's just like, like, it's just that constant reminder of like, life is fickle and fleeting, and just you make the most of it. When I asked you a couple of times while you were doing this was, what do you think the game is about? And for me, my answer on it is that no matter how much the world makes you think you need to rush, you actually just need to kind of sit and smell the roses.
That's actually a pretty good way of putting it. Yeah, like you said, you asked me a couple of times, and I think the first time you asked me that, I went, well, I think it's about the Nomai did this thing, and I have to stop it and save the universe. And then you asked me later the same question, and my answer was, at this point, I don't even know anymore. And then after I finished the game, you asked me, and my answer was sort of similar to what you're saying now, where it's just kind of about, like the universe being a whole lot bigger than you. You just like, not that we're insignificant, but that we want to maintain so much control over things, and we want to be able to just make things work, or at least that's how I feel a lot of the time.
Yeah.
I like to be in control of my life, and I get very frustrated when things are kind of out of my control. And even in this game, that could be reflected. I got frustrated quite a bit with this game every. And
because you did hit this moment where you kind of realized, and you put it this way, this is what this game is about. Is you have these moments where you get frustrated, or the game just, something happens and it's like, now you have to start over. And I feel like those moments are really special. All the fun ways where you suddenly die. Like, it's like, oh, I guess now I'm being crushed by sand. I didn't realize that was happening. Or you're walking around Brittle Hollow and suddenly you're being pulled into a black hole.
Yeah. So the way that I kind of summed it up in the end was just kind of learning to be okay with things being out of your control, and trying to be okay with things that are inevitable, and putting that energy towards other things instead of trying to stop stuff that's out of your control, or worrying about things that you have no say in. Well, put that energy towards something that's, you do have a say in, that you do have control over, that, like you said, just kind of living in the moment and not waiting for things, because you never know what's going to happen tomorrow.
Exactly. And I think this game does a really good job. I think a lot of games kind of make you realize, oh, I need to enjoy the little things in life. But I don't think a game has ever like bashed me over the head like this one.
So when as you were playing through the game, as you saw, I definitely I was very confused quite a few times, to put it nicely. Did you have that similar experience playing through the game where you just really didn't know what to make of stuff, like, as you were playing it?
So I played it in a very different way.
Yeah, it was streaming, so you had
Yeah, I had an audience that was there that could kind of give me direction when I needed it. So I didn't have these moments where I was just completely stuck. But I did end up having some people spoil some things, which is unfortunate. But I also played the entire game to completion in a week. I streamed it every morning, Monday to Friday, because I did all my winter holiday. So I just had this long path of like doing it all at once. So I was very in it all the time. I never pulled myself out of it.
Right. Whereas I definitely was more spaced out on things.
Yeah. I did get frustrated at quite a few of the puzzles, or at some things, or it's just like, I felt like I was just about to figure something out and I got pulled back. So I did get frustrated at some things. But I never got too hung up on it. And I think that mostly does come from the fact that I was streaming it and not recording. I definitely understood your perspective of, since you were trying to make Let's Play videos, it's a very different outlook on when you're recording something.
Yeah, I got very hung up on what things would turn out to be like, because I was doing a lot of recording in advance and I didn't have that feedback from people actually seeing what I was doing. So I was just in my own head about, what are people going to think of this? Mm-hmm. Am I doing this right? Because it really didn't feel like I was, but that's because I was going into this having certain expectations based on having played video games before. And just, this game is very different from probably anything else I've ever played.
Yeah, it's hard to like compare it to something.
But now there was one thing that the way that I was playing it at first, I was checking out a place, and then I was saying, okay, well, I've probably spent enough time here. Let me go to somewhere else to just keep things moving for the sake of the videos.
Yeah.
When you were playing, did you kind of stay longer in one place at a time?
Yes and no. At the start, I very much tried to stick and see what I could find all in one area, but I think as I got to the midpoint, I was like, I'm gonna jump around a bit and try to directly follow these plot threads that I was coming across. And then by the end, everything starts coming together. Like, one of the last things I did was the interloper on the Sun Station.
Oh.
Those were one of the last few things I did. It never even occurred to me I could land on the interloper. Because, like you said, this video game is not like anything else. There's a lot of times in video games where you see something, but it's not like something you can really do anything with.
Right.
Like, you'll get up to it and it's like, oh, it's just like a flat texture or something, or it's just a small detail. It never occurred to me that, this interloper that's circling the sun and Whitehall is something I could land on. So once I did that, I was like, oh, there's a lot more going on here than I realized. But that means I also ended up getting a very different outlook on the story.
That's true.
The whole time I thought, they blew up the sun. They blew up the sun.
And that's where I came to a similar conclusion early on in the game, and then as things were going on, I didn't get to the Sun Station until much later, but by that point, I had gotten a lot of other information and had observed a lot of other areas in the game, and I started to suspect that, how do I put it? That, I still thought that, okay, they did something to the sun that's causing it to blow up, but I was now starting to feel like my job isn't to stop that. Things were just kind of gonna happen.
Exactly. But then from my perspective on the story was, I don't know if you ever noticed this, the sun gets bigger as you're playing through the cycle, right?
Yeah, it swells up and turns red, and then it condenses and explodes.
The interloper stays on the same path, and it eventually gets swallowed by the sun.
Oh, I didn't notice that, no.
Yeah, the interloper gets, I think, about 2, maybe 3 rotations, and then it gets swallowed. So my thought, because I didn't get to the sun station until after I did the interloper, so I found out that the Nomai died because of the interloper. So because I didn't find out the sun station was a failure, all this time I'm like, they're blowing up the sun, and then I find out they died to the ghost matter from the interloper, and I'm like, oh, they didn't. But the sun's blowing up because it's swallowing the ghost matter, and that's causing it to explode. So then I ended up on this little crusade of trying to knock the interloper off path. Like I would get the gravity thing from like Ember Twin and try to shoot the shuttle into the interloper to knock it off course. So that was like some things I did, and then I eventually got to the sun station and realized that, oh, it's not the interloper, it's just this is what's happening to the sun.
Right. It seems like now, having played through the game now, it seems kind of clear that you are meant to get these little bits and pieces of lore and interpret it any number of different ways without
and
really...
everyone's wrong until they get the whole picture. It's beautiful storytelling.
Had I known that going... Well, I mean, it's a good thing that I didn't know anything going into that, but I just knowing the things that I do now, if I were to go back and do it all again, then I would be a lot more confident in my playing and being like, oh, okay, so I gotta start over. I died, I start over. Oh, I didn't get to this place in time. No big deal. I'll get that sooner or later. Because there's no real... You're collecting pieces of puzzles, but it's not really your job to assemble all those pieces together. Eventually, there's one or two things that you do key in on that guide you towards, oh, you can do this, maybe. But the overall, like all the information that you get, it's more about leading you just to more puzzle pieces, more story, as opposed to the answers to like how to win the game, so to speak. So you
get the nice little threads of how everything connects.
Right. So you played this game and you decided that I should play this game.
Yes.
And a two-part question there. What was it that you were hoping for me to get out of the game, or hoping to see in my playthrough? And did it live up to your expectations?
I'll answer the question, the second there first. Absolutely, 100% lived up to my expectations. And I think I told you about this already, that there was a moment very early in the Let's Play, I think it was like episode 3, where you started to think about what was going on in the game, because you didn't watch the sun explode the first time it happened.
Yeah, I was very fortunate, or super lucky, that I somehow missed that right in front of my face. So many things.
There was this big moment where you started putting the pieces together of, oh, we're in a time loop and the sun's exploding. And as you're like putting these pieces together, the end of loop music starts to play, and then everything goes dark, and then you turn and look and the sun explodes in your face. And it was just this most cinematic thing. You could not ask for a better moment than that. And that was very specifically why I wanted you to play this game, because of all the Let's Players I watch that, or even like streamers and stuff, you're someone that actually pauses and thinks and talks out what you're thinking is going on in a game. And that's very rare for a lot of things on YouTube and Twitch. It's usually just straight reactions or something, or it's pre-done, someone's showing off a game they already love. But you're very honest, and the fact that you're able to take a moment and talk your thoughts out, I'm very bad at doing that.
I gotta fill out the silence somehow, so I just let that stream of consciousness flow.
Your way of Let's Playing, especially after watching you play Until Dawn.
Oh yeah.
Because I watched you play Until Dawn before I even knew this game existed. But as soon as I played through it, I was like, oh, I need James to do this. And I think that's also a big thing about Outer Wilds, is you experience it and you're like, I can never experience this game again. I know everything.
That's what people have been saying, yeah.
Even if I like wait a couple years and get back into it, it's gonna be like riding a bike. Maybe not with the ship controls, but like with the plot and the finding things.
Right.
It's gonna be like, oh yeah, I remember I need to go here, I need to do this. You can never experience this game again. So what you end up doing is telling other people to play this game so that you can see them go through it.
Yeah, that's what I've gathered from, when I was talking to people about my feeling inadequate, feeling like I was doing something wrong, and then afterwards, once the videos were going up, the general consensus was that, yeah, no, you're doing exactly what's expected, and this is exactly what people want to see because they want to recapture that, like, cluelessness, that first playthrough.
Exactly. Which I'm very grateful that they made the DLC, because then I was able to get back into it and go through all these feelings again. But now that's done for me. And so it's just like, okay, well now I just need you to go through that too. But then after that, like, I think this is the only game I still look up on Twitch to find people playing.
Yeah.
And the hard part with that is they don't always pay attention or read.
Mm.
And I don't mean like reading out loud. That's nice, but like you can tell when people are just kind of like skimming through things, not really paying attention, and then they'll like read, here's what's happening, and they're like, I don't know what's going on.
There's a lot more distractions when you're streaming, whether it's having the chat or you have like different alerts, or, oh, wait, we got an ad coming up, let me take a break, or things like that. Yeah. So the sun has exploded. Am I far enough away?
You should be. What's the distance say?
It's disappeared now.
Okay, then yeah, you're probably more than good.
Because the sun has exploded.
Yeah.
I don't think it came for me yet. Are you still seeing the screen?
No, it stopped like almost immediately.
Oh. I got an achievement saying it was worth a shot.
Yep, there you go.
So what does that mean? Like, it ended as if I died.
Did it?
It's replaying my memories for me.
But something different happened. The screen kind of had that purpley thing go on.
Yeah.
So here's a question. Are you the same Hearthian every time?
I'm going to say no. Absolutely
I don't think
not.
you are. So since it's restarted, we can now see if we can get Discord working again.
Yeah.
So I don't think you're the same Nomai. Or not Nomai, sorry, Hearthian.
Yeah, it seemed to be not like explicitly, but very heavily implied that just because of the nature of this, that it's like things are kind of...
Yeah, like a lot of people think you're actually going back in time, but that's not really the case.
No.
Your memories are being sent back, but because of that, it's going to a different body. It's definitely a question of... It's kind of like, what is it? Theseus's ship? Where if you replace each part individually to the point where you've changed every part, is it the same ship?
Right.
I hate that, by the way. The answer is yes. However, in this case, it's like you're just getting the memories sent back. It's going to a different body. You remember all those things because you were given the memories, but it would be the same as like if you, James, went on a trip and took all these photographs and then gave it to me, and I like went through and I saw like every waking moment. I'm not you.
Right. Like it's a loop. It's not going back in time. It's a loop. It's like a rate. It's like going around a track. And you're like,
if it was sending your body back, then yeah, I would say sure, but it's not really the case. But also, it's still you. It's a very thought question. I don't think there's an actual right answer. I just like to say the answer is no. You're not the same Parthian.
Yeah, the thing that really leaned me more towards that was realizing that it's not my death that's causing the loop.
Yeah.
It's, I can, like, die in, like, minute 2 of a loop, and then my body's just there dead for another 20 minutes, and then it's the sun exploding that
and then your memories
things.
get sent back.
Right.
Yeah. So, little details I like. I can't remember if you found it or not. The ship on the log on your ship was made with part of the statue you're paired to, which is why it keeps all the information.
That was something, I can't remember if I read it or not at the time, but somebody mentions that after, like, you look at the statue and everything.
Yeah. Nice little details. So that was one thing I wanted you to see for sure was, if you do not get exploded, it still has a way to, like, pull you back.
But is it made clear what exactly happened there?
I mean, it's basically just you have to infer that, oh, that's your memories getting pulled back because you didn't die, but your memories are still being pulled.
Okay, yeah, that sounds about right.
The same thing will happen if you end the loop on the quantum moon. At the 6th location, because you're at the 6th location, the eye of the universe doesn't get exploded, so that happens. So what are you doing here?
I was going to try to get to Chert at the end of...
Oh, yes. That was one of the things I wanted you to do.
If I can. I may have wasted too much time.
Might have been a little bit.
Unless I'm, like, really good at this.
Did someone tell you about this?
No, this is the 2 ship logs that I have left to get.
Right.
I looked up what things I missed with the ship logs.
I forgot this was technically a part of the ship log. Yeah, I think you might have been a little too late, but that's okay.
That's all right. We can totally do this. We can totally...
Yeah, you can crash and then you can just jump out. You technically have until the whole thing explodes, so...
Alright, now I totally lost where that smoke was.
To the right, behind you. He's on the North Pole.
Oh, son of a... So I overshot.
Yeah, Chert's the North Pole, which is always one way to find him easily.
Yeah, I was trying to follow the smoke. Okay, hi, Chert.
Yeah, if you do that, that's the only thing they'll say.
There we go.
But yeah, you can have a conversation where they say, like, it's time. Do you want to sit with me in these final moments?
Yeah, because I remember talking to Chert and they were kind of freaking out. Like,
yeah,
oh, everything's
like, oh my
exploding.
God, oh my God, oh my God. But then
Yeah, I didn't realize that if I talked to them later on that I would get a ship log update.
Mm-hmm.
So that was one thing that I wanted to nab real quick.
Yeah, I still haven't gotten the whole ship log.
Yeah, so I did go through the ship log, compared what I had versus what the entire log is, and I found 2 things. That was one, and the other one is back at the vessel. And you wanted to show me how to get past the anglerfish in my ship.
Right.
So we'll go ahead and we'll do that.
And the trick is very specifically, you know how when you start up the game, it's like, hey, this is best played with a gamepad.
Mm-hmm.
That this is kind of one of the reasons why, is how to get past the anglerfish.
Because what seemed to be happening for me was as soon as I was transitioning into that next area, that all the anglerfish were there and they immediately sensed me and came, and the closest one came after me.
Right. That's specifically just because your ship is loud.
That it is.
But you figured out, oh, my jetpack isn't. which is something I never even thought to try. That was another thing, was you messaged me, it's like, oh yeah, I got past these anglerfish and I freaked out. It's like, that took me hours, and you just did that?
Oh, I'm coming in too hot here.
Coming in hot, coming in hot. Pull him back, pull it back. Oh, yeah,
There
you should go to your log and just select the Nomai shuttle.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, the vessel. And then I don't have to...
No, you don't have to go searching. You can just kind of get there easy.
What I do have to search for is...
There you go.
Yeah, search for where the vessel is actually marked on this.
Yeah, I always go to map mode.
I'm just... There it is.
There it is, yeah.
So mark that on my HUD.
Yep. And now you can just follow that signal.
Okay.
Yeah, this is one of the ways that the game makes it a bit easier to get places.
So what do I need to know?
Well, we'll get to the red light before you transition. I think that one to the top right is anglerfish, though.
That top over here?
No, not that one. That one's a regular one. I think the one like between
Next
you
to
and it. Yeah, one of those two is definitely an anglerfish.
Whoops.
Ooh.
Okay.
For anyone interested, there's a mod that gets rid of the fog here, and it makes it infinitely scarier. You would think that would make it easier, but no, it's actually more terrifying to see this place without fog. There's also mods to get rid of the anglerfish entirely.
That sounds like a very good mod.
Yeah, because some people can't, like, this is definitely a difficult spot for a lot of people. Not just because of, like, the difficulty of traveling, but just, it's scary.
Yeah, I think my exact words were, oh, God.
Which never bugged me. I would jump a little bit, but we've discussed before how games don't really scare me.
It was just the fact that, like, it just jumped right at me, and I got worried.
Going a little fast. Yeah, he heard you.
No, he didn't.
The only thing you can really do at this point is go straight for it.
Take it.
Just go straight for the red light.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah, the anglerfish are rough.
That's okay.
Yeah. Did you have any questions about, like, the story that I could answer?
I think I have a fairly good understanding of the overall story at this point.
Okay. Fair enough.
I'm sure that I had some questions come up during the playthrough, but I can't really remember at this point.
Yeah, and I try to answer things as they came up and stuff. At least the ones that you asked outwardly.
Right.
I think it should still be marked.
Just in case it's not.
Yeah.
Oh, it is. All right.
I'm curious what's still there that you missed.
I could tell you right now, I never looked at the fact that the warp core was damaged.
Oh man.
I looked at it with my...
You got everything but those two things. That's
I looked
incredible.
at it with my human eyes, but I apparently did not look at it with my Hearthian brain.
Your Hearthian brain. That's incredible that you played through this whole game, and those are the only two things you missed. You got every bit of text. That's incredible, James.
Including the ones that were really annoying, like at that Whitehole station.
Wow. Good for you.
Well, as far as I know, these are the only two things that I missed. We'll find out for sure once I inspect the vessel there.
Yeah, it's hard, because, like, if you don't, like, even get, like... If you don't properly look at something, it doesn't even pop up as, oh, there's more to explore here.
Yeah. So you noted that I apparently went like around the what you would call the main goal of the game. Like
you perfectly like avoided everything. It was incredible.
And so that kind of allowed me to explore as much as I did and get the information that I did. Whereas had I gone on a different path, then maybe I would have missed more.
So here's the trick to getting past like around in here. Um, you see how your thrusters have different levels? Like on the bottom left of your at the bottom left of your screen,
Yes,
you can
yeah.
kind of see. If you go past 2, they hear you.
Oh. So those are
So
like an indicator of how much power and
yeah, and
also
how
how much
loud you're
sound,
being.
essentially.
Yeah. You can kind of get away sometimes with 3 if you're very quick, but this is also why they recommend a gamepad. However, that does not work if it is a Switch Pro controller, because the Switch Pro controllers trigger buttons are buttons. They're not like triggers like the PS4.
Yeah, they don't have the pressure sensitivity.
Yeah, so it's full power all the time. And this is I played this with a Switch Pro controller. Okay, so stop.
Oh,
Go
that was
full,
loud.
full throttle, and then let go as soon as you transfer. Damn it! Stupid anglerfish.
When I match velocity, that launched the volume.
Yeah. At least it's quick to get there. There's nothing in the game that takes a long time to get to.
So once I go through there,
Yep.
you basically you just want me to be as silent as possible.
Full throttle, and the moment you transition, let go of the thruster entirely. And then just wait.
I think I liked my other way better.
I mean, on one hand, yes. I think you can still technically get caught if you are without your ship. I think if you get too close to them,
Yeah,
they'll
I mean
notice you.
You definitely can still make noise out
But
of
like
your ship.
this game has speedrun categories for shipless and stuff.
So I'll give this one more shot and see how good I am at it. And worst comes to worst, then we'll just kind of go back to doing it outside of the ship. And
You're gonna get caught by the sun.
That's a little bit too close.
You're good.
I don't trust it.
I've put so many hours into this game.
Okay.
Like, on my account, I think I'm at 36 hours, and then I've also played on Callie's account.
And she's finished the game now too, right?
Yeah, she wasn't able to really do the flying, at least to the point where it wasn't frustrating for her.
I can very much relate. I'm still not at that point myself.
It is one of those things where like the movement in this game is something that like if you can't get around, it's unfortunate that kind of does tamper with your experience of it.
Yeah.
But she loved the story and the worlds and the planets and everything, so I basically controlled and just had her direct me, and I'm just like, where do you want to go? And she pointed me and I'd move for her. So we got to play it together that way, and it was a lot of fun.
I still very much struggle with this being space, right, and all the physics that go along with that. Like I think
if you wanted to, you could go to the duplicate signal, the other one, the white one. I don't believe the anglerfish is near that one, and there's no anglerfish in that area. That'll take you to where the Nomai graveyard is and stuff.
Yeah.
I love space flying. The flight controls in this game I think are really well done. It is frustrating, but I just love it so much.
Like right now I'm drifting forward because it's space. There's no like resistance, there's no slowing down, and I'm running silent right now.
Correct. Yeah. I do think that the fog here is kind of what saved the anglerfish from dying to the ghost matter, though. I think because of this temporal space plus the water vapor of the fog probably kept the ghost matter from killing them. Unfortunately.
But I wonder how one got on to the Ember Twin. I'm assuming they just kind of maybe got launched
Yeah,
from a bramble seed or something, but there was
yeah,
no
that's
real
kind of.
indication.
There's also theories that Amber Twin may have had water at one point. Because like there's some fossils of like seaweed and other plant life. So there's theories on how that got there. And we know that there's a small anglerfish in the museum because it latched onto a ship. So that could also have been how one got to. Well, no, it had to have been here before the Nomai were here since they found its remains. So it probably got connected via the bramble exploding. Okay, yeah, so just aim yourself. So just kind of set yourself, aim yourself, go full throttle through, and then let go. Yep.
That makes me nervous, but okay, we're going full throttle, and I'm stopping.
And then just don't touch.
What if I touch them?
You won't. It is 100% designed to just let you pass them. By the time you reach the eggs, you're out of their earshot, but there is another one nearby. So if you wanted to now, you could get out of your ship and go via yourself if you want, if you're more comfortable that way. I just wanted you to be able to see that.
Oh, we're in it now, so we might as well just keep going. I'm heading there.
Yeah, so you told me you got to like eggs, and I was like, how did you do that? Because this took me hours. I needed to be told how to get past those guys.
So some things I did manage to just kind of stumble my way into doing, and other things I got very hung up on. The forge was my big thing there.
Okay, you should be good now.
And there's none in this area.
No, there's none at the vessel.
Aside from the eggs, was there any parts where you're like, I can't believe he did that? Either good or bad?
Watching you just immediately be like, I wonder what's in this giant tornado on Giant's Deep. That was fun. Because I don't think you really got any clues that you needed to go in there, and you're just like, I've been eyeing this giant tornado, so let's go in from the top.
Yeah, well, it stood out to me that it seemed a little bit different in just its nature. And so I was like, okay, let me see what's going on with that. And then I jumped in and, oh, hey, look, there's something in there.
Yeah. You also figured out, well, kind of. You kind of figured out how to get into the core of Giant's Deep a lot easier, like getting past the, is there something else?
That's strange. Oh, maybe I put it in?
You can try that.
There we go. And that was it. That was the two things.
Congratulations.
That's all I needed.
Yeah, so figuring out how to get in with the jellyfish, that took me so long. I had to go back and reread this stuff a couple of times. I'm sure people got mad at me. You did it in a very roundabout way where you just kind of hung out in its, like, tendrils, but you can go right up into its body, into the rubber part, and then you don't get hurt at all.
Oh, because when I was worried about getting too close to the body, because when I touched it from the outside...
Yeah, the inside is safe. That's what the clue with finding Feldspar's note in there, when you, like, go right into the dead one's body.
Okay.
Fun thing, it's theorized that the jellyfish are from whatever planet Dark Bramble was. Since on Giant's Deep you see a frozen jellyfish on the piece of the Dark Brandle Island.
Also, I found the eject button.
Yeah, that's an achievement. Yeah.
Somehow, yeah, I managed to. I don't know what I was doing, but I guess I just pushed the right button at the right time.
Yeah, that's another thing people do if they're getting chased by an anglerfish is they'll just eject.
Yeah. So there it is proper, everybody. And now we can just meditate until the next loop. Yeah. And what else do you think I should be trying here? I think you said something like you were just talking about Giant's Deep. I thought you mentioned something about that, where getting in without using the jellyfish.
Yeah. So there's two ways to do it. One is the intended way, where you leave the solar system and fly going 10,000 kilometers a second into it. That takes a lot of time. The way I found recently that does the same thing. I don't think it's intended, so it might have been patched out at some point. If you go onto the Brittle Hollow to the shuttle launcher, that eventually aligns with Giant's Deep, and if you time it right and send yourself in the Nomai shuttle to it, it just breaks through.
The shuttle launcher.
Yeah, so you gotta get to Brittle Hollow. No.
Yeah, no, I'm just
I think it's behind you.
Yeah, I'm just making I like keeping my eye on this sun. Yeah, I'm just gonna mark Giant's Deep for now. You see the struggles with the map?
Yeah. There it is.
Yeah. So using the gravity cannon?
Yeah, gravity cannon, that's the word. Word hard.
Okay, I'm trying to think. That once I activate, I don't want the ship to be on the platform when I activate the gravity cannon, right?
You can activate the gravity cannon from in the ship.
Okay.
Yeah, so just call the ship, get in the ship, and then we wait. I've never done this myself, so I'm hoping it works. Otherwise, it's just going to be, yeah, you're just going to have to aim it properly from way outside solar system. It took me 3 tries, I think. I think Brittle Hollow is also one of the planets that kind of makes or breaks a playthrough for someone.
In what way?
In that because the planet breaks apart randomly, it can kind of be really annoying to try and get things.
Oh, yeah.
And you just kind of have to accept that that's just how it is. So you don't want to put your ship in there. We're going to want the Nomai shuttle.
Oh, we want to launch ourselves with the Nomai shuttle.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what I was asking. Like, I didn't want to put my ship on that.
Right. Yeah. And the main problem with this is I believe the gravity cannon is one of the things that can break on here.
Obviously, I had a lot of frustrations with this area because I was just being a little too anxious, I guess you could say, with trying to get around, and I'd bonk something and end up in the black hole.
Yeah. Which sometimes you can actually get out of that. You can slingshot yourself a bit with the black hole to actually get back up.
Easier said than done in my experience, but
no, yeah, absolutely, it's not easy, but it's like there's a chance, and a chance is better than nothing. Okay, so you just want to call. I believe that's the other way. Yeah.
Oh. Okay. Low shippy.
Hell yeah, perspective. So now we just gotta wait for Giant Steve to be in our sights, and then I believe we put the ball up and to the left.
So if I were to find Giant Deep on here...
Yeah, we might be waiting a little bit.
Oh, I can't actually mark it on my thing when I'm not on the ship. We'll kind of be there just with the sun in the way.
Well, we need it to be facing this direction too. They eventually line up. Yeah. The teleporters were definitely a struggle you had.
Or which teleporters?
Just you kind of danced around figuring out teleportation. Just because like you ended up at the White Hole station and then you didn't really teleport yourself. And then that kind of stayed the same for a while until you got to the Ash Twin, where you then started doing the teleportation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there are some things that they just kind of, I guess, didn't register with me in the way that maybe they were intended.
Yeah. I think that's fair. Everyone has a different experience, different thought processes. Yeah, that's fun.
It's going to be really fun if this breaks from the explosions.
Yeah. That's how this game be, you know?
Yeah.
It's a fun game, fun experience.
But, I'm trying to not fidget.
I do like that the Gnome are like, we have 3 eyes. What if we make all our technology track our eye movement? And technically you can land this ship on every planet.
It's just as long as it's in a trajectory. Here's the Giant Steep. Am I going for it?
We can... No, we won't line up properly from here. We have to wait for it to be closer. We should line up and be, like, literally right beside.
Okay.
We just have to wait for our orbit to reconvene. Yeah. But yeah, no, you can technically land the ship on everything. I mean, the Nomai did it, but it's actually possible in game.
Yeah, that's actually one of the real amazing things about the development of this game is just how much of it works.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, they did this thing, but you can't. No, you can do, like, everything.
Exactly. The development was really like, we need to make sure that this world is believable.
And when you look at the development cycle for this game, it makes sense that they were able to do all that stuff with the amount of time and the amount of talent that they had, and then getting picked up by Mobius. They were given just a lot of opportunity to really fine-tune this game, and maybe that's why there really is no other game like it, because you don't really see that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's true. You never see something with this much love and care. And I think because the game isn't too big, like there's stuff they cut out and they didn't try to like half-assedly put things in.
But there was like a complete overhaul on like the design, like the look of the game and everything.
Oh yeah, I've watched some of the original beta like builds and stuff. The original iteration of the ship that was from the beta build is actually crashed on Timberhearth's moon. So you can go see the original ship still. So it's just a lot of fun. It makes the world feel very lived in.
Yeah.
You definitely feel like, oh, we're at the end of this. Because you can see all these, especially since you find, like, when you go talk to all the different Outer Wild Ventures members, and they talk to you about their travels and stuff, it's just like, oh, they've all done these amazing things, and now I'm making my story. even if our story isn't told.
Yeah.
It kind of is. We observed um, all quantum possibilities and collapsed them into one. People theorize, you know that sound that the quantum stuff makes, that very like loud wailing.
Yeah.
People theorize that maybe that's the sound of the previous universe.
Huh. How is this looking now?
We could probably still wait one more loop. I've seen it much closer.
Okay.
I could also be completely wrong and we missed it, but I don't think so. But yeah, so people theorize the sound that the quantum moon and all the quantum shards make is the denizens of the previous universe that found their way. Yeah, that. So people wonder if the next universe they actually hear our song at the campfire.
That would actually be kind of neat.
It
I
would
wonder
be.
what, like, do you think another Outer Wilds, like they could make an Outer Wilds 2?
I don't think so. At least not
I mean,
in the
from a
same
gameplay perspective,
way.
probably, but from like an experience perspective.
Yeah, like they could do the same thing where it's like, oh yeah, you're traveling through space, or you're traveling through something else, and you're trying to like piece together this mystery. But I don't think it could ever get the same feeling. Not in the same way that a sequel kind of never is quite as good as the original, but just like, yeah, I don't know. I feel like it would just be like, oh, you're trying to do this again.
Hmm.
And I say that
Too much of a
especially
retread, yeah.
especially after playing the DLC. Um, After playing the DLC, I can say for sure they could if they wanted, um, but I don't think you should. I'm
Do
very
you?
excited to see what else they do.
Yeah, and that would be my other question: is do you think they could do not an Outer Wilds 2, but another game similar to this experience that would be like unique, that would not be like a
Absolutely.
retread?
Yeah, I think they could. It would take a lot of thinking and doing, but just I think the way this game presents its information and puzzles is just unique enough in a way that if they tried to do a similar thing, they could, and they could pull it off. It just the one thing that's hard is this game is so reliant on the time loop.
Hmm.
Not in a bad way, obviously, but just like you kind of need that for the
Yeah,
way this game tells its story.
yeah, it's very central to everything.
So I don't
I've
know.
I've
I'm excited
learned
to
to
see what they do.
I've learned to the time loop being what it is.
Yeah.
I don't think we're going to have another rotation here after the one that's coming up.
No, if this should be it. If it comes up, it should be the good. Because I know there is a moment where, yeah, here we go.
And then it's the top left,
Yeah.
and I'm just waiting for it to kind of come into view of the center area.
Yeah. You could probably launch like a little before it's in the center area. You just want to make sure your trajectory is lining up with it.
There's not too much lag between us, so I'll let you tell me when you think I should get started.
All right, you should be good now.
Okay.
Oh, I might have said too soon.
Okay, I think we can pull it back, right?
Yeah.
This is looking okay.
Yeah, it's looking pretty good.
It's getting closer, and it's kind of staying in that area.
Yeah.
Now it's kind of not.
And this definitely isn't the intended way of doing this achievement.
Looks like it's looking like I'm going to miss it. Maybe not.
Maybe not.
I cannot tell. I'm stuck against this.
Can't move at all.
No, I'm stuck. Oh, there we
Wow.
go. There we go.
Oh, there we go.
Nope, pushing me back.
Oh, we must not have broken through. I'm guessing you're stuck in the pull of the current.
Oh, wait, I'm free.
Oh, no, you definitely made it. Did you get the achievement?
No.
No? Oh, interesting. They must have patched that then.
I don't have to break into past the jellyfish?
No, you just need to break past the current so you could be down by the jellyfish.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so the way you're supposed to do that is the speed you need is 5,000 meters a second, which can only be achieved by being outside the solar system with your ship. So that, I don't think you want to wait around and do that now. The way I did it was I got myself 10,000 meters away and then started heading back towards that full sprint.
So yeah, it's basically you gotta be going fast enough that you don't get slowed down enough by the current.
Yeah, yeah. There is other things I wanted you to see.
Sure.
Can you get to the high energy lab?
I can try. And there is the last of those. All right. So I'll remove that high energy lab.
Yeah. You don't actually want to follow it though, because that's going to take you to the outside where you can't get in. You have to enter through the secret passage by the
city
gravity cannon to get into the city.
I also, very late in the game, realized what these arrows were.
Oh yeah, that took me a little while to figure out too. They did a good job of making a flight sim, though. Like, there's a lot of games where where it's just hard to find like a good space flying game, and I think this one really nails it.
Like there's things that are kind of obvious to me now that I know what they are. And maybe they should have been obvious to me at a point much sooner. But in my defense, sometimes it's very easy to get focused on something.
Mm-hmm.
And you can kind of miss some things on like the periphery of the screen and really having an understanding of just what everything actually is. Because, you know, if I'm flying around and I'm trying not to die, for example, or I'm trying to, you know, observe the area around me and I'm not necessarily seeing the like the messages and prompts and the things that might be on my ship or what have you, you know?
There it is.
Because I remember there was a few people pointing things out, like, hey, you might have missed this thing over in the corner of the screen. And
Yeah, like the photo mode of the scout.
yeah. Which, I mean, that's nice and all, but I do, for the purposes of the scout, for what I was using it for, I did still prefer to launch it. Because then I could see if it was passing through ghost matter areas.
Yeah, fair. I prefer the photo mode, just because I can keep up with it, but as I was playing with Callie, I also ended up walking into ghost matter by accident even with that, so...
Like, see when it brings up the hazard.
Yeah.
And that's another thing that I tried to make a defense for myself on, was that I did play around with that ghost matter area on Timber Hearth.
Yeah.
But it really felt like maybe it wasn't as clear as I needed it to be.
No, that's fair. Okay. Oh, you also got to the to the anglerfish from underneath a lot faster than I did.
Oh, in here?
Yeah, like it took me a while to figure out the stepping stone district thing. Also took me a lot more tries, unless you cut them out, it took me a lot more tries to get to the second rule of quantum entanglement, or to the rule of quantum entanglement through the cave bed down below the lake.
No, I got there too late on my first pass, and then I went back and I got in there, and then I just kind of looked around and I read the messages and I thought about things and experimented a little bit, and it all just kind of came together. So
yeah, I died in there a couple of times. I just was getting pretty unlucky with the way the quantum stuff was blocking my path, and I took too much time. I was like freaking out. I was on the edge of my seat, like freaking out, be like, yes, go, it's over there, keep going, you got this.
I don't think I died there.
You didn't. You made it, and I was so happy. I'm like, yes.
I died here, and I may die here again.
Yeah.
I was trying to follow the conduit, the cable here. And
yeah, and then it's like, oh, the energy is going backwards. I got turned around in here too.
Well, it's like it goes through a wall that you have to go around to catch back up with it.
Yeah, this is one of the hard parts. Yeah. Like I said, I think you asked at the beginning of this, being like, is there a lot of like timed things? And I said, there's only like a couple actual timed things you need to do. A lot of them have to do with this area because of the sand.
And this I still don't really get. You got to get here relatively quickly, I think.
Yeah, before the door gets covered.
Yeah, like this seems like I'm at the... Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they make you wait here in order to have this timed puzzle of having the sand, and you're like they just want you to have this little race of panic. Okay, you can go. I think they just wanted this, and it's kind of hard to make a really good timed thing otherwise. You have to go over those cactus.
Over them?
Yeah.
That's fair. Maybe that's another thing that I got hung up on, is the fact that, like...
Nope.
I get scared with stuff like this. The pressure.
Yeah. There you go.
And we're here. This is another thing that I find interesting, is that there's no way in there.
Yeah, there is. You passed it before.
I come down from here?
You can, but that's filled with ghost matter, so you will die.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. Like, that this is just a thing that's just here that doesn't serve a purpose for the player itself.
World building. You do get up there, and you can...
Right.
accidentally pull yourself down. I believe that's in the city itself. But yeah, just world building. Making it all interconnect.
Yeah. That's what I mean by interesting. Interesting good.
Yeah, it's good. I love how much all this fits together.
Okay.
Okay, turn on the experiment.
Yes, somebody was kind enough to point out that I missed this right here with the scroll being right next to it. It's like, oh, if only there was something to draw your attention to this. Which, you know, I mean...
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
But the thing is, like, I'm focused on this. I'm like, look,
Yeah.
I'm, you know, locked in on that. It didn't dawn on me that that was a thing.
Ball came back. That's interesting.
Maybe I just drew it back.
Yeah, you're good. Okay. Open it up. I don't want to tell you the exact answer here, but there's something you can do here that's fun.
Okay. If it's somehow dropping one of these through the collision,
I saw you do that. That was interesting. So I just want you to kind of think this through. What is happening here?
We are leaving the white hole faster than we're entering the black hole.
So knowing that, what's something fun you could do?
Oh, are you telling this? Okay. I assume I have to be kind of quick about this. Oh my god. Oh no. Oh, I broke the laws of time and space, didn't I? Boy, they thought of everything, didn't they?
Yeah.
Snake, you created a time paradox.
The best version of the credits.
Well. Oh.
You almost did it too when you were playing before. Like you kept playing with it and trying different things. Like, is he gonna like catch on, being like, oh, what if I did this?
I don't think I was giving the game enough credit on exactly how, like, you could break things. I didn't want to break things, and right. I didn't give the game credit that they would account for something like that.
That's fair.
And not that I not that I clued in on it, but just, you know. Okay,
but
then.
It's funny.
It very much is.
The next thing I want you to do is get to the Ash Twin project, and we're just going to hang out there till the end of the loop.
Okay. So I need to get the warp core in the Ash Twin. Oh, no, I'm not doing that.
No, you're just going to get to the warp core and just not take it out. We're going to have to do a little bit of waiting for the sand to fall.
That's, yeah, good point. I wanted to land back on this, if I can.
You can land down by the campfire.
Better safe than...
Actually, if you want to meditate, because I think waiting 5 minutes from wake up is a good time.
Just to start over?
Yeah.
Okay.
If you're confident in being able to get to the... No, that should be fine. Waiting 5 minutes from wake up should be good.
Yeah, right after taking off, I was like, wait, no, I should probably sleep for a little bit.
So a lot of the achievement names are references.
Yeah,
So the one you just got was You've
let
Met a Terrible Fate.
yeah, Majora's Mask, which is very
Yeah,
fitting.
yeah. There's actually quite a few Zelda achievements in this game with the DLC.
Oh boy.
Yeah,
So the other achievements, like they didn't actually come up on screen, like the little messages when I was playing, because it only records the
right.
game and not the overlay.
Yeah.
But the
From what
sorry,
I have a list here. I've marked down all the ones you have. You have archaeologist now, cutting it
yeah, and
close.
that was for using oxygen after my fuel ran out.
Yeah, gone in 60 seconds.
Yeah, dying within the first minute.
Oh, 6 minutes. You should
Oh,
go. You should be good. It was just no rush on that. You just got harmonic convergence.
yeah, that's for getting all those signals in one go.
Convergence generally in space meaning like when planets align, and that's when the music aligns. Hey, what's this button do?
Yeah, accidentally finding the eject button.
It was worth a shot. That was when you tried to escape the solar system.
Which we just did, yeah.
Yeah. Carcinogens. From
Yeah,
Nintendo marshmallows.
this entire time I thought you were supposed to put the marshmallows in the fire.
No, you can't actually have a nice marshmallow. It's just hard.
Well, I don't know how you roasted marshmallows, but I would always...
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with the taste of a burnt marshmallow, like a little burnt. I don't like fully burnt.
Well,
I
it wasn't
know
like to...
everyone.
It wasn't to burn them, but it was to, get them browned.
Yeah. Everyone likes their marshmallows a little different, and I'm not going to marshmallow shame anyone.
So there's the sun station,
Yeah, it's the second one.
which we would have just missed it.
Yeah, but there's still another loop, so you're good. We don't need our ship afterwards.
So yeah, the achievement that I thought existed for like eating marshmallows at every campfire.
Which is crazy that you got it at the last campfire.
Just the speculation of it.
This is a good puzzle.
Yeah, and you were right that you wouldn't really stumble upon this.
No. There's 3 things you need to beat the game. You need to be able to get to this, like to get to the Ash Twin Project. You need to get to the middle of Giant's Deep to get the coordinates for the eye, and you need to get to the vessel in the Dark Bramble. And out of everything in the game, I don't think any of those are ones that someone can stumble on their first loop.
Yeah, because if you try to use this the same way you use the other ones, you're standing here waiting for the stuff, but you get picked up by the sand.
Yeah, before you can go through.
Right.
And you need to figure out the thing of the jellyfish to get into the middle of the Giant's Deep. And you need to be able to pass all of those anglerfish and know which ones to go into to get to the vessel. So the game is very beautifully designed in that you can get just about anywhere on your first run, except all of these have to be very intentional.
Yeah. Now, when it comes to the coordinates that you find at the vessel, is that different every playthrough?
Nope. It's just one set.
So that would be like you were mentioning, going and finishing the game on your very first run on a fresh game.
Yeah.
So you would
have to know.
Okay.
So they never change, so you currently know the solution to those.
You'd think so, but I forget things very, very easily. I may still have it written down.
When I do that, what I do is I wait a little bit for the sand to leave, and then I get... Oh, here we go.
Yeah, it's
I'm not gonna...
In fact, I'll pull that away just so I can see the glow a little bit better. And there we go.
All right. Okay, let's get rid of gravity here. And open up the warp core. We're just going to hang out by the warp core for the rest of this loop. We're not going to take it out.
Okay. Yeah, I like that this comes up as a prompt to warn you.
Yeah. Like, you can't do it in one loop. You have to look away and then look back to do it on purpose.
So now gravity's disabled.
Nope. That's open. Gravity's still on. It's the other one that does gravity there too.
Oh. Yeah, like I said, forgetting things
Yep.
very, very easily.
Fun thing here. All this rock around you,
Is
that was mined from Timberhearth.
Yeah, the stuff that looks like stars.
Yeah, very well done. Nice little world building, and like when you first look through the projector and see this, you think you're out in space somewhere, but you're not.
Yeah.
Oh, you actually reclosed the warp core.
Oh, the thing dropped. And that was a thing I observed kind of early on when I was doing the quote unquote satellite tutorial. Was that there was the rocks that have that sparkling effect to them, like this.
Yeah.
It was this, and in the title screen, what I thought was space, I surmised it was actually this texture of the rock because of how it like moved.
No, that is space.
It is?
Yep.
Oh, because
if you watch, you'll actually see some of the stars burn out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Actually, if you wait on the title screen long enough, the logo actually starts breaking apart and drifting.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because I thought I was being all clever, like, oh, this is what I was seeing on the title screen.
That would be really neat.
And
it
then
would be cool if after you beat the game if they did that.
And then I thought that like maybe that was kind of a hint in itself of like, oh, you're actually seeing like the Ash Twin project on the title screen.
I know that because when I first streamed it, it wasn't registering my gamepad, so I was like, I never actually had the firelight up and got to the title screen for a while. So I'm like, what is happening? And I saw the lights kind of burning out. And I'm like, what is going on? I had to, don't remove that.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you if I was supposed to or not.
No.
But I think I'm getting what it... Maybe. We wait in here. This is supposed to be able to survive a supernova.
Correct. That's why they mined this stuff. It's because it was the... it didn't melt in the Hollow's lantern.
Yeah, that was like the last thing I found was...
Yeah, same, actually. I'd never... Like, I'd had the same thing where it's like, oh, I can't go to Hollow's lantern, it's just hot soup.
Yeah, and I tried to observe it a couple of times there, and then when I was waiting for things to break apart at Brittle Hollow, I was kind of noticing that, like, oh, it looked like the lava was disappearing.
Yeah,
kind of like with the Hourglass Twins. Like,
yeah.
Stuff is depleting over time.
There's actually a Nomai skeleton in one of those craters that has one hand popping out of the lava like Terminator. As a little reference.
I'm just gonna...
Game's full of so many details like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, a lot of fun things. This entire LP has been great, and I'm really excited for you to do the DLC.
Yeah, which I will be starting soon after we do this.
Yeah. That one, definitely if you have questions, don't hesitate to ask. It's a very different experience.
I guess
it's nice that you're going right into it, though.
Yeah, the main question that I have is it's DLC that is integrated into the games, and that's why you told me to hold off on it.
Yes.
So as I go into the game with that DLC added in, what is it that I'm looking for to start me on that path? Is it going to be...
It'll have a prompt to tell you.
Okay.
I can tell you...
It's like I load up the game, I wake up, and there'll be like a prompt.
As soon as you load up the game, like on the title screen, it'll be like, hey, here's some things going on.
Okay, alright, then, and that'll guide me towards what I should be looking for.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all I was really concerned about. Like,
yeah.
I don't think, because of the way that this game is crafted, I don't think that the DLC would be making any changes to the world, so to speak. Like, oh, there's not going to be suddenly like a new tower on the Ember Twin or something like that, because the Ember Twin has been carefully crafted to have these landmarks and to have these things going on over time and stuff like that. Would that be fair to say?
They did think ahead, though. You're correct, but they did think ahead enough, though, because you've actually already interacted a little bit with some of the things to lead you to the DLC.
Okay. Somebody mentioned that... Well, I got conflicting things. There was the signal that on the barrel that I found out in space.
Yep.
And somebody said that was there for like the crowdfunding thing. And somebody else said that had to do with the expansion, the DLC.
There's two things out there. One, there is a barrel that has stuff to do with the crowdfunding. It has like some really incomprehensible sounds coming out of it and images. That's kind of hard to find. If you kind of look around in space for a bit, you'll eventually be able to lock onto it. That is one thing, but there is the other thing that you did interact with out there that's to help with the DLC a bit.
Okay.
Like I said, they did enough world building ahead of time to have already integrated the DLC into the game before you have the DLC. So you've actually already kind of interacted a little bit, but it will direct you, and it'll be like, here's like the game will say, go here. But yeah, like you asked me before what my favorite planet is, and I think I said it was Giant's Deep. But only because I couldn't talk about the DLC being my favorite part of the game.
And I think my favorite, I said, was the Ember Twin.
Yeah.
Because there's just... That was one of the earliest places that I went to.
Same. Giant's Deep was the first place I went to after leaving Timberhearth.
Yeah,
I explored the moon a little bit. That's where I discovered the sun exploding. And then I kind of went around Timberhearth for a while, and then I'm like, well, you know what? I'm just going to go to that giant planet in the sky. And that ended up being my favorite area. I probably think it's not true for everyone, but it's kind of interesting that for both of us, the first planets we explored ended up being our favorites.
I think it helps to set the tone for like what your experience is going to be for the rest of the game.
Those are hard planets to take on first.
But what I ended up liking about the Ember Twin was just, I felt like it was one of the more elaborate planets to explore and find a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, when you're actually going down into the planet. It's interesting how each planet kind of does its own thing in a really unique way.
Right.
The Ember Twin ended up being a lot of inspiration for an area in my D&D campaign.
Oh. Is it
so
like
much so that
with like things changing, like the landscape changing over time?
No. In Spring Keep, there's a place called Ruins Edge, where there's a bunch of ruins all around the kingdom, and there was a town that they built up in one as they were researching it. But the landscape is so rough, and the monsters there are so dangerous that they ended up like going down underground into the ruins and integrating themselves. So I used the Sunless City as like a good example of like, well, you've got this giant hole underneath the ground, and the city kind of goes around it, and there's the different levels and layers to it. I really like this idea of a city that is completely underneath the ground, away from the elements.
Speaking of Spring Keep in D&D, you're going to be doing a one-shot that takes place in that world, but it's kind of like its own isolated story. And I'm going to be playing my first ever proper game of D&D in that.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I imagine this video is going to be out after we've done that.
Possibly. This might actually go out before that.
So then here's a question
here's the end of the world music.
Okay. So here's a question I'll ask for that. Do you want me to stream that game?
That's up to you. It's your game. But for people that might be interested, it's a one-shot, isolated, like a single session campaign, maybe 2 sessions, depending on how much I drag everything out for everybody. But
yeah,
it's
if we end up doing 2, I guess we end up doing 2. I'm planning on it just being 1, but I will see what happens.
It's a heist scenario where I and the other players are thieves. That doesn't necessarily mean that we're playing rogues, though. The character that I'm going to be is a centaur druid, and I change into a rat, which will let me sneak around areas to, like scout ahead and be less be more inconspicuous. And maybe, if the game allows it, I get to use my little rat hands to pick locks.
Yeah. I'm excited for it. I really am. So how close are we to that core? We want to be pretty close. There we go. Still have a little Pavlovian response to that music.
Yeah, it was.
Oh no!
It was very cruel to have the song be remixed for the. Okay, so looked like I got pulled in. So are things going as planned so far?
Yep. Go get your suit.
So you wanted me to be close to the warp core because there was something that happened with the warp core.
Open up your map.
Easier said than done. Okay. Oh, boy.
So how's the Ashwin project work, James?
I think we're going to find out pretty soon. So did I just... Well, this is interesting. Because I feel like we just kind of did something similar to what we did with the Scout. In that we kind of entered a black hole and exited the white hole quicker than we entered the black hole. And it was receiving enough power, thanks to the supernova, to create that time dissonance. And we've created a clone of ourselves.
Well, the main problem, the reason you broke space-time with the Scout was because by removing the warp, like the black hole, you ended up with a Scout that came out of the white hole that never entered the black hole. So if that was the case right now, space-time would already have been broken.
So But something would have had to have come out of that white hole.
Correct. So now let's go back to a question we asked earlier. Are you the same Hearthy in every loop?
I'm still saying no, and I'm now more convinced of that fact.
This is one of my favorite parts of this game.
So I'm going back in there. Am I going to meet myself?
Guess we'll have to see. Sucks they have to wait like 6 minutes.
Yeah, or do I?
I mean, the sand's already going. I guess it doesn't matter when you get in. You can always... There's enough loops.
And just go ahead and find ourselves a little camp. And he's at the north.
Yeah, he's right over there. To the right of the screen here.
Yeah.
Just drop our ship on top of him.
Hey, he's got bigger things to worry about at this point. So I'll just sleep for like 3.5 minutes.
Yeah, that's fair.
Sorry, I got very excited.
No, that's, yeah.
There we go. Bye, Chert.
Thanks for hanging out with us. Your maracas slash drums are really cool.
And
Oh, this might have been perfect, actually.
I take it we don't need our ship again?
No. And even if we did, you can technically get everywhere without your ship.
Technically, but you've seen how well I manage anything. It's a rumbling right behind me there.
Yeah. You actually timed this one perfect.
Oh, I've played this game once or twice. Okay, and get in. It's not behind me, right? Okay. Are they in there, maybe? Or maybe this guy can tell me where I am.
Talk to self.
Oh. I guess we'll find out, right?
Yeah.
Let's just go with that. There we go.
Now they're just screaming.
So I'm trying to wrap my brain around everything at the moment.
Yeah.
We went into the black hole of the warp core.
Correct. Which made you exit the white hole 22 minutes prior. But we're following the memories going through the Ash Twin project. So the memories still got sent back 22 minutes at the same time.
And that's what created the duplicates. It wasn't that something came out of the white hole necessarily. It's that it came out of the white hole 22 minutes
ago.
Yeah.
But your actions influence that. So it's not the same loop every time. That's why things change.
Right.
The Brittle Hollow changes slightly. Which islands get shot out of Giant's Deep changes slightly. All that has little things, because it's not the same loop every time.
I like that. So it just kind of keeps coming back to this?
Yeah, it just keeps asking you, like, what happens if you don't do it this time?
And is that what we're going to be doing? We're just going to hang out until then?
Yeah, we'll hang out till then. Technically, we don't have to hang out till then, but it's... there's not really much else to do.
Okay.
And for your information, so you have now gotten the third ending.
This is
before.
This is the third ending?
Breaking space-time at the Scout. Whenever it pops up something, whenever it brings up the credits...
Oh, okay. Okay. So the first one was dying before everything even started.
Yeah.
The second one was, the whole shebang.
To the eye of the universe. The third is to break space-time.
The fourth, if there is there a fourth?
Oh, there's a couple more.
Okay, because that's going to say, I'm assuming another one, or the fourth one, would be removing the core and not getting to, like, the vessel. Or getting...
Yeah, kind of. There's a couple things you can do after that. One of them is just leaving the solar system with the core. Just to leave. The loop stops and you've left.
Oh. That does make sense.
You can also remove the core and go to the Quantum Moon 6 location and hang out with Solanum.
So I was just thinking removing it from here and just nothing. Like, just you could hang out in here and then just die and you won't create you won't have another loop, which would be to me like an ending.
Yeah.
But things like would continue afterwards if I don't die.
Yeah.
So removing the core and not getting to that end in and of itself is not an ending. It's what I do with that makes the ending.
Yeah.
Okay. So what other achievements are there that we might be looking at doing, if any, at this point?
I can just tell you what they are.
Sure.
Yeah, so beginner's luck, that's what you get to the Eye of the Universe in the first loop, so you need to make a new account.
Mm-hmm.
Deep Impact, that's where you enter Giant's Deep Ocean at 500 meters a second. Die Hard and a time loop alive after taking and healing over 1,000 damage. The easy way to do that is to just park your ship down at the campfire on Timber Hearth,
mm-hmm.
And just burning yourself till you almost die about 11 times. So you just almost die, go back and heal and do that 11 times and just wait out the cycle. From Hearth to the Moon, you have to land the model rocket on the Atla Rock.
Oh, we could try that one.
It's pretty difficult, but it's kind of a fun one. Hot Shot, manually flying to the Sun Station.
Yeah, which sounds like it would be kind of difficult.
It is. It took me quite a while to finally get that. It belongs to the museum. Take the warp core back to the museum.
Oh. Boy, they really did think of everything.
Yeah, very specifically, it's the achievement's clue says bring an artifact back to the museum.
But I guess like things like the scrolls and discs then wouldn't work.
Yeah, you can. The scrolls and discs don't work. Bring a warp core back. I guess you can technically bring the one from the high energy lab in there as well.
Oh.
I've just always brought in this one, the actual warp core. Mika's Wrath, destroy the model rocket by flying it into the sun, or Hollow's Lantern. That one is very hard. Like the Atla Rock is like the easy version. That's the hard version.
Okay.
One I'm surprised you never did. Achoo! Fire your ship out of a gravity cannon.
Didn't I?
No. You
Oh, I
launched
fired
yourself
myself. Okay.
Yeah, which is something everyone does. There's compilations online of people doing that. And the last one, rigid body deorbit the Hearthian satellite. So there's a satellite that goes around Timberhearth. Area,
that you take the pictures with.
Yeah, you have to knock it out of orbit.
Okay.
That one's a little difficult because it's a little finicky. Sometimes you can do that and it not count. And that's very annoying.
So there's nothing I mean, we could try like closing this out with maybe messing around with a couple of things, but maybe going for like all these achievements and stuff like that, probably not for the video here.
Yeah,
maybe
I streamed doing those, and it's fun to just talk about the game and stuff, but like, yeah, if you're an achievement hunter, they're fun ones to do, but unless you want it to be a bonus video and stuff as well,
but we'll see.
There's some fun ones.
I don't think I would do a stream of it or anything like that,
Yeah.
but I would probably mess around, and it either ends up being part of a video or it's just for me.
Yeah.
I guess it depends on how frustrating it would all end up being. And then I'm assuming...
A lot of them can be a little frustrating.
I'm assuming that the DLC has its own achievements.
Yes, there's a lot.
Oh boy. Yeah, you've said that it's kind of a big addition.
It brings in 14 more achievements.
Because you said that this game was roughly like for a non-James player of games, like about 15 to 20 hours.
Yeah, my first playthrough of the game was about 18 hours.
And then you said the DLC was maybe like half that?
12 hours.
Oh.
Again, I had help. Like, I had people watching that were able to lead me along. And actually, they've made some updates to the DLC because some of the puzzles were too difficult, so they gave more clues.
So it's not going to be like, oh, I'm done in like 2 videos. It's going to be pretty robust.
Yeah, it's going to be a robust thing. But it's really good. It's incredible DLC. Scary.
Yeah, I was talking to Michael about things, and I mentioned that I'm not a big fan of survival horror. And your response was, oh, I don't know if you're going to like the DLC then.
Yeah.
But to clarify, when I said like I don't like survival horror games, I mean the gameplay elements of like your classic survival horror stuff, where you have the very limited inventory, where you have the hobbled movement mechanics, where you're classified as tank controls, things like that.
No, you got your full control just like you always do. The area itself is just a little scary.
I'm fine with a little scary, as you've seen from my playthroughs of other stuff.
The game is at least nice in that there's an option in the menus to make it less scary. Which I played with. I 100% am fine with the fact that I turned on the less scary mode.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I will go with the more scary mode.
We'll see.
I'll start out with how it is, and then if I need to dial it back.
The less scary mode does more than just make it less scary.
Does it make it like more accessible?
Yeah. In ways. We'll see. You'll get to that point, and once you get to the scary parts, I can be like, here's what that also does.
Okay. But yeah, I don't necessarily have a problem with like horror games or scary elements in games. It was more about the mechanics that I was talking about, why I don't like survival horror. But, with the power of emulation and everything like that, I'm maybe a little bit more open to the idea of maybe trying something in the future. Maybe I would do like Resident Evil on the GameCube or something like that.
Oh, that game's not beatable.
It's not?
I will say that for my entire life because I don't know what it is. Every time I've played that game, I can't kill the first zombie. I don't know if I just ended up with a bugged disc or something.
Oh boy.
Yeah, just like so it's just every time I've played it, it just so happens I can't kill the first zombie. So I'm like, well, this game's broken.
Well, I told you that I had some experience with Resident Evil 2 because the Nintendo 64 version lets you change the movement controls.
Yes.
So I actually own that, and I've tried that, but I'm not very good with my item management. My experience with the game has been I get all like anxious because of all the zombies, and I try to kill all the zombies, and then I'm out of ammo, and the game doesn't give you any more ammo.
Yeah.
And then I die because the zombies are there.
Yeah. I played through Resident Evil 2 Leon A once. And I know there's more to it, but that was kind of enough for me. I played through Resident Evil 5. I had a lot of fun with that one. Played through it. Actually, I was super excited. Actually, no, wait, I also beat Resident Evil 4. Resident Evil 5 came out, and I was still in high school, and I had my friend. He slept over for the entire weekend, and we just played through Resident Evil 5 together, start to finish. That was a fun experience.
But yeah,
that was less scary.
When it comes to the survival horror like that, Resident Evil 2 is probably my only real experience where I tried a demo of it on PlayStation, and then I rented the Nintendo 64 version, and then I bought the Nintendo 64 version when it was like on clearance for $10 maybe.
Yeah.
But I never really played any of those games just because that style of control was very off-putting for me. But like I said, with not having to worry about like typewriter ink and being able to kind of save, use emulation for save states, and I can try experiment with things and get more comfortable with the gameplay and things. Maybe I would change my opinion on things, and maybe that would open up.
I'm glad they kind of dropped the use of the typewriter ink.
Yeah. So we're at the end of another loop here.
I don't know if he says anything like Chert does.
Doesn't look like it.
No, I guess not.
Let's get out of this. All right.
Oh, now that you're not beside it, though, you can actually see what happens when the supernova tries to break through the walls.
And do I get to see myself die?
Look up at the thing, because now you can see the...
Yeah, it opened up.
Yeah. Oh. It tries to. You can see all the data is being shoved into the tiny...
My controller stopped rumbling. Time paradox.
Yep, you didn't go in. Yeah, so it's the same as before. You get the achievement one of two ways.
Okay. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. It's like, since I didn't, like you said, I didn't go in, therefore they should not exist.
Yep. Still the best version of the credits.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, other fun things. If you didn't lose your scout in the Eye of the Universe, it wouldn't have shown up on that final image. If you don't find Solanum, she's not in the Eye of the Universe, and on the final image, the little aliens around the campfire don't show up.
Huh. Is it like different aliens?
Nope, there's just none. your experience is that there was no other life in the universe because you never found another living alien. So when you remake the universe, there's no life.
Oh, that's an
The
interesting
the
way to.
the new the new uh the new universe is based off of your experience and what you put into it.
But my experience then would have just been Hearthians, so I would have made more Hearthians.
Yeah, just little things.
Or I would have made anglerfish really small and turned them into
Oh
pets.
God, yeah.
Like the one that. Oh, I hit myself in the face with that. I hit them in the face with that.
You hit Mika. Oh, they're freaking out. Yeah, see, it's not easy.
This does not. I. There we go. It's a lot more delicate than the ship.
Yeah. So the way I did this was I just kind of kept it out of like within orbit a little bit, and then as soon as I saw the Atla rock, I just like rocketed it to the moon.
I don't know what's happening now.
Yeah. I think it left orbit and now you're rotating around. It keeps your eyes locked on it.
Yeah, there's the moon.
Yeah. This song is my alarm.
So I don't know how much control I actually have of it once it's out in space.
You have as much control as you do otherwise. It's just like the ship.
But this perspective is what's really making it difficult.
Yeah. It took me a while. It's not easy. It's neat though. They thought of just about everything you could do and made an achievement for it.
Yeah. It's since I'm not in the ship and it's a lot more lightweight
Yeah.
that it's
And then flying it into the sun is just, oh man.
Oh, I can't mark these. Oh yeah, I can.
Oh, that's a good idea. And then you can see where the moon is.
This was an amazing way to get myself killed. Was getting crushed by that elevator.
Yeah. Oh. Really flatten you.
Okay, so fly in that ship model.
Yeah, it's interesting that they gave you this ship to kind of get used to the idea of the flying controls, but it's not really at all like it.
Yeah, especially with the different perspective, and it's a lot.
Oh, you might be able to get to the sun if you just kind of go for it.
I have no more control. I don't think.
Yeah, you just keep holding and kind of push forward. Because you have to keep in mind that you're rotating around.
I now no longer see.
Yeah, you just kind of got to trust that it's going towards it. Your eyes stay locked onto the middle of the scout, though, so if you start looking away from the sun, you know you're no longer flying towards it.
Yeah, I have no idea. I have no vision.
Yeah. No, I'm going to say you missed.
It's
Because
far.
you can still reset it.
Yeah.
If it was on the sun, you'd destroy it.
Oh. Boy, it's weird.
Yeah, it's interesting that the Hearthians were able to figure out the warp technology for this and for your scout, though.
Hmm.
They're like, oh, this thing the Nomai did is sure interesting, and they managed to make it work. I think, though, the Hearthians are the definition of the idea that if you put 1,000 monkeys at a typewriter, eventually they'll write Shakespeare.
Yeah, I have a feeling this is not going to work. I really feel like this is not going to work. All right, so we'll try the lunar lookout or the moon. Oh, that's fun. I'm. Boy, it's the perspective that's just really. Yeah, okay. So I could spend a very long time trying to mess with that stuff for sure. And I will! No. So I definitely have some things that I would mess around with, just... Not that I'm, like, really, an achievement addict or anything like that, but I'm willing to try a few more things to refine my skills a bit before getting into the DLC.
Yeah. That's always a good way to do it. I went right back into the DLC fresh, and it's a little rough, but the fact that you're going right into it one after the other is going to be really good for you.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. You guys at home or at work or watching on your phones while driving, don't do that. But those of you that are watching, you can tell me if you actually want to see me do like an achievement hunting video for what's left or what. And yeah, so we'll be wrapping this up now. Do you have any final thoughts or things that you wanted to say, Michael?
I do. I want to kind of end this off with a neat little fact for you.
Okay.
The main title theme has two banjo tracks playing that you can kind of hear separately from one another when they start up. One starts and then another starts. The first one was recorded at the start of the game development in 2013, and the other was recorded at the end right before launch at 2019. So the main title is the encompassment of their journey in making this game.
Oh. That's neat.
Yeah. Kind of just wanted to end on that. Oh yeah, you can see the original ship there. Yeah. This game is beautiful.
It very much is. It's funny to me that, like, I think the game finally clicked for me right as it was ending.
And that's fair. Now you're going to go into the DLC with the game having clicked and, like, having this new moment of discovery with fresh eyes, but having that thought of you're doing okay.
That's true. I wonder what the experience would have been like had I had it as part of the game from the start.
You can do that. There's technically nothing stopping you, but I think when you're playing through it, you'll understand why I said don't integrate it until you're done the main game.
I've been interested to see other people's playthroughs of this. Like I mentioned that there's been a few people recently that were streaming their own experiences with this game, and I had to not watch those because they were including the DLC. So I didn't get the chance to really watch anything yet.
One other thing I want to mention, when you're leaving the solar system, like we did at the start of this, if I had been able to see the video, I would have told you. If you're going for the other endings when you're doing that, there's no achievement for them, but if you do it, when you leave the solar system, the further and further you get away, the more it gets messed up. If you check the map, you can see the text and the planets start to misalign. It's because the physics engine in this game is based around you. So if you're not there, it starts freaking out. So there's been some videos where, through the use of mods, they've made their character model be way outside the solar system, but have the camera in the solar system, and things will start like aligning, like you can get planets going through each other and stuff. It's really funny. But the actual thing I wanted to end out on, aside from that fact, my entire life, this looks good. My entire life, Ocarina of Time has been my favorite game.
Hey!
You did it! There you go, you got the easy version. Ocarina of Time has been my favorite game my entire life. And that changed after playing this. Outer Wilds has taken #1 for me. which was a big deal because that's like 20 years ish of
Yeah.
Ocarina of Time being my favorite. Then I play this, and I grappled it for a while. I was like, it's second, or they're both first to me. But it's like, you know what? Nah, Outer Wilds is my favorite video game.
It's high up there for me now, but I still don't think it beats Chulip.
Chulip is so good. I think every now and then to stream that, but I'm like, I don't know what an experience that would be to stream. Oh, you did it! Good job.
Okay.
Go talk to Mika. Okay, try talking again. Oh wow, they're not. I think because you didn't talk to them first, they'd have no reaction. They usually get mad at you.
Oh.
But hey, congratulations on getting those achievements right at the very end. Once you get the hang of it, it's like, here's how you do it.
Yeah, but I'm glad I did it then, so I don't have to worry about it.
But yeah, thank you for having me on this.
Oh, well, thank you very much for hanging out with me and giving the information and helping me find a couple more things to do, and for giving me the recommendation in the first place.
Yeah, you're heading towards the graveyard.
I'm dying, and I'm going to go heal and...
Yeah, 11 times.
Yeah.
Gotta get to this point 11 times.
And I'm sure I've got plenty of time to do it now.
Well, you have all the time in the world.
But yeah, one more thing to mention is you suggested I play this game, and then in return I suggested a game for you to play, which was a very different game, and it was a short game called High Entropy Challenges.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, I played through that.
And I would recommend other people play that too. I really, really liked it. It's a game that's free on Steam. It's meant to be like a proof of concept for a bigger game. And
very much so.
And what I really liked about it was it's a puzzle game where your objective is to get to an elevator at the end of each floor. And sometimes there's other things that you need to do along the way. And sometimes it's really not clear what it is that you can or should do. Sometimes there are a little bit of freedom in how you approach things. There's actually some levels that have both like pacifist and more aggressive
kill
methods.
Everything.
Yeah.
That game was interesting.
Yeah, you got kind of frustrated with it.
I did. I got frustrated with it just like you got frustrated with this. But
yeah.
At the end, it was just like, you know what, this was a good experience.
But if you're interested in... What I liked about it was the fact that it really wasn't... it was kind of up to you to figure out how to do some of the puzzles. Like, it wasn't really giving you hints on everything. And one big aspect of the game was that you can essentially do, like, go into computer terminals and use, like, DOS prompts.
That's what really got me, because I'm not good at that.
Yeah. But it felt really neat to me that you can, like, do these things. That you can, it made me feel like a smart person.
Yes.
It's like, okay, I got this disc that I can put into a computer, and I can get the... Yeah, good thing I waited. You put it into a terminal, and you boot it up, and you find a file, and you access the file, and it gives you some information on, like, IP addresses for some of the technology, like cameras and stuff. And then you are able to access a program for that.
Yep.
And then you...
Good game.
Yeah. The hard part is, like, it can be, like, really, really slow to figure out some of these things. And then you can get to the end, and you're just about to finish, and then you die, and you got to do the whole thing over. Which definitely was...
Yeah,
You needed a moment.
yeah. I definitely did. I think I stepped away for a second.
Yeah, yeah, the be right back screen came up.
Yeah. And like, there's a lot of stealth in that, and I'm not the best with stealth sections in games.
What was it in the end? Was it okay? Was it a
Yeah,
good enough
yeah, it was a good
experience?
experience. I definitely would have needed help the whole way through. Like I said, DOS just is not my thing. I never did any of that stuff, so it was just really hard to keep my mind around how you do all this coding.
Right. But that's one of
But
the things that I found interesting about the game is you can do it that way, or you can take more roundabout ways to actually like directly access um, um, a user interface, but it requires you to get to like different computers and stuff like that. So there's different ways that you can approach completing these levels, and that's what I found really neat about it. And I really do hope that the person is able to make that into a full-fledged game at some point.
yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they, because they definitely tease that there being more going on.
Yeah.
So they definitely have an idea.
I like my puzzle adventure games for sure, and that really scratched an itch for me. I think my favorite of that type of game is Ico, or Eco, depending on how you want to pronounce it, by the people that did Shadow of the Colossus and The Last Guardian.
Right. Yeah.
And I think I'm right around that time where I could play that game again. I've forgotten everything, and I'm really excited for that. Because
Never played Ico.
that's what I really like about that is it's very much environmental puzzles, and it's about, okay, there's this area that I want to get to. How do I get to this area? Let me look around, let me try to figure out a path. And it's not about like, oh, I need to find a code to input or something like that. Or, oh, I need to find this key card. It's all about like the environment and figuring out how to use the environment around you to solve these puzzles. And that was just really cool, and I really loved that whole world, that the aesthetic of it. And like I said,
Very much like this.
yeah, and I'm around that point where I don't remember anything about the game, which means I could go back into it and it would be like a brand new experience all over again. And that's exciting to me.
Yeah, that's fair.
And that's another game where it's kind of like you said, like this, it's very hard to find games that really capture that experience.
Yeah, I think the same thing with, I don't think I could go back through We Were Here. Shout out to that. If you're watching this, but you didn't watch your We Were Here Let's Play, if you're not tired of my voice, go watch We Were Here series with James and Michael.
With Michael and James.
Yeah. And find out how I don't know the shape of a circle.
To be fair, like I said, we both had plenty of moments where we just were not it wasn't coming together for either of us at points. That's why I say it's co-op puzzle misadventures. But that was a really fun series that we had a blast with. And the first game in that series is free. So if you get a friend and you want to try that out for yourself, instead of like spoiling the puzzles and everything, go do that.
Or do what I think they intended you to do, which is get the game and go pair with a random person.
Oh god. Yeah, you can do that.
I would love to have seen someone do that and what that experience is like.
And you can pair with people from other countries. And you know what? Maybe that would be a way to hone your language skills. Yeah. Because communicating with a native speaker is a way to
the best way to learn a language is to immerse yourself. Just go there, live there. Necessity will give results.
I don't think I'm gonna get this.
I think you're close. You might.
Yeah, but
see what happens.
what is also close is I feel like the end of the world music's going to be playing sooner
Like, you
or
just
later.
need to get around 11-ish, and you've done this quite a few times.
Yeah, but I'm not going for, like, full damage either.
No, that also means you're getting it faster. Like, you're doing more routes. There's no actual damage quantifier. People just assume that you have 100 health, and you need to take 1,000 damage and live. So, we'll see what happens. Slate down there is being like, what are they doing? What is happening? It's their inaugural flight. They just played around with the model ship, and now they're just jumping off over and over.
Yeah, here comes the end of the world music.
Yeah.
And it's just I have to take a certain amount of damage, not heal a certain amount of damage.
No, you need to heal him out. You need to take and heal 1,000 damage.
Oh boy.
So it's best just to keep going as much as you can. Ooh, that was a good one. Be careful not to accidentally kill yourself.
Yeah.
Because you do need to make it to the end.
But with that said, this will be the end of the video when everything explodes. So thank you very much for suggesting this game and giving me the... Oh. That's the perfect way to end this.
Yeah.
But thank you for recommending this game. I had not actually heard about it before you mentioned it. And thank you for being that gentle guiding hand for when I got stuck. And I'm sure I will bug you again in the future with the DLC.
Well, I look forward to it. And if you need a little more hands-on, I can always come on and help you a little more directly with the DLC. I just played through it again. So.
Yeah. So, and for those of you watching, thank you for indulging in this special podcast of the Outer Wilds here.
That's kind of what it became, didn't it?
Yeah. People often say that they put stuff on in the background like this, and
yeah.
this is the perfect background game, or perfect background video for you guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
is
now,
this all one video?
Oh yeah, this is absolutely.
Oh my god.
This is gonna be the big one for everybody.
Callie's gonna look at me when this comes in the feed, and she's just gonna be like, "No, we're not watching that." That's 3 hours.
Well, the thing is, you don't have to watch it all in one go. You can pause and pick up where you left off, and it's been 3 hours. Well, we won't make it to 4. So everybody, thank you. See you next time. Love ya. Mwah. Bye-bye.